Hey guys, Derek here. Welcome back to the channel. We are back to watch another episode of The Last of Us. This is episode 4. It is called Please Hold My Hand. Last episode was fantastic. It was just a beautiful, beautiful love story between Bill and Frank, which had, was mainly focused on them, but had some grander thematic connections towards Joel and Ellie and their journey as it will continue through the rest of the show. I personally loved it. I loved the change. I thought it was, really well done. There were obviously a certain group of people that didn't enjoy it. There's always going to be those dumb people that are going to hate this story regardless, just because there's, non-straight, stories happening on screen. We don't need to listen to those people. Those people are not, their opinion isn't worth anything. So, the majority of people loved it though. It was fantastic. Definitely very, very sad, made me cry. This next episode probably will not make me cry, depending on how far they get, because they're going into the Pittsburgh section of the game, which I think they're changing to like Kansas City or something like that in the show. And it's gonna be very interesting. It's the hunter arc, the hunter section of the game, and hopefully we will meet two fan favorite characters. I don't want to say their names just in case they're not in this episode, but they're our pals, they're our buddies, and they're gonna make us cry. No, I'm really excited to jump into this next episode though. So far, this show has been firing on all cylinders, and as someone who is a massive fan of both Part 1 and Part 2 of The Last of Us, I couldn't ask for anything better from a show. So, and since Season 2 is coming, we get to look forward to that as well. But, yeah, before we jump into this episode, if you end up enjoying my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a lot to me. If you're new here, hit subscribe. And then if you want to see the full uncut version of this reaction, consider supporting me on Patreon. It's linked in the description below. Sometimes I post these reactions early on Patreon as well. So if you're interested in that, consider checking it out. But otherwise, let's jump into episode 4 of The Last of Us. You talking to me? You talking to me? Ellie thinks she's tough. Careful though. You don't want to shoot that on accident. Good. Good to fully unload that thing before you practice pulling the trigger. What a goober. Yeah, she's real confident right now until time comes when she actually has to do it. We'll see how confident she is then.
We have to do this every hour?
Gas breaks down over time. This stuff's almost water.
Oh, damn.
Back in the day, we'd drive 10, 12 hours on one tank. You could go anywhere.
So where'd you go?
Nowhere.
Pretty much nowhere.
Yeah, facts. We just stayed home.
Okay. This is your fault then. It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope. It'll still be stationary.
Yes, Ellie!
What did the mermaid write in her math class?
Ah, I love it. I love it.
An algebra. Like algebra. I stayed up all night.
No.
Wondering where the sun went.
He does not want to become friends. This brings me immense joy that they included the pun book. It's one of the best parts of the game. Like one of the most wholesome parts of the game.
I got something. Here. This make you all nostalgic?
That is before my time.
This is actually before my time.
disgusting pig.
Fan service, baby.
For kids,
How do
Ellie.
you even walk around with that thing?
Please.
It's all sticky.
Why are all these pages stuck together? I'm just fucking with you.
See you later, dude.
Bye-bye, dude.
Alone and
Forsaken by man.
Lord, if you hear me, please turn my hand.
I don't remember all the lyrics to this song. God, I love that this is fan service episode up the wazoo.
She may have forsaken some other
Surprised the roads are in that good a condition.
plaything that she threw
Song
away.
Arby's! Free lunch, baby. Arby's sponsored this show. This is a Midwest, classic Midwest town. Tanks. Where you just drive past all the interchanges with gas stations and fast food places.
Without any love.
Reminds me of Red Dead 2. Ooh, the train fell off. Chef Boyardee, baby. That's where it's at.
What am I even eating?
That is 20-year-old Chef Boyardee ravioli.
That guy was good.
I actually agree.
That guy was good. He is good. He manufactured a can that rolls from the store all the way to your house on its own.
Joe,
What?
can I ask you a serious
I
question?
swear to God, if it's another pun.
Why did the scarecrow?
God damn it. Oh, why did the Scarecrow get an award? I don't
Because
know.
he was outstanding in his field.
Yes, Joel.
Did you read this?
No.
He just knows dad jokes. He can't help but care. God, this episode's incredible already.
Those people you said. There's no way anyone knows we're here, right? No one's gonna find us.
No one's gonna find us.
No guarantees.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
You don't like coffee?
He's like, that's the juice of the gods, Ellie. I don't like coffee either. I think it's gross.
It smells like burnt shit.
Oh, you goober, Joel.
What's his name?
Whose name?
Your brother.
It's a
Tommy.
Younger or
secret.
older?
Younger.
Why isn't he with you?
Long story.
Is it longer than 25 hours? Because I think that's what we got.
Depends. How long is the game? They should make a prequel about Tommy and Joel.
Tommy's what we used to call a joiner. Dreams of becoming a hero. So he enlists in the army right out of high school. A few months later, they ship him off to Desert Storm.
Okay, so that was Tommy's truck in episode 1.
Convinces me to join a group making their way up to Boston, which I did. Mostly to keep an eye on him, keep him alive. That's where we met Tess. And then Tommy meets Marlene.
Marlene.
She talks me to joining the Fireflies.
Marlene. Marlene.
Wants to save the world. Pipe dream, yeah.
Please
Fireflies
don't take my brother just 'cause you can.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
You find something to fight for, Ellie. You find a reason.
Keep going for family. That's about it.
I'm not family.
No. Your cargo. You got up pretty early if you want to grab more sleep.
I'm not even tired.
Classic cut. Classic cut. They blocked this off, so you gotta take a different road. Yeah, there's no cars after that. So people put these here. That looks fresh. Smoke's still coming off of it.
Is that the QZ? Where the fuck is Fedra?
Oh, they're all super dead.
Please help!
Put your seatbelt on, Ellie.
Put your seatbelt on.
Yeah.
You gonna help him?
No.
He ain't even hurt. Oh. Yep. Where's the bus? Oh, no bus.
Hey, you see that hole?
Climbing it.
You can squeeze through. When I say go, you crawl to that wall and you squeeze through and you don't come out until I say, okay?
Ooh.
Okay. Go!
Whoa. She's in. Yes, Joel, you're the goat.
You motherfucker!
You killed Tim! Tim's a punk. Don't worry, Ellie. Joel won. Oh, it's Jim. Oh, I swear to God, if they have the glass scene. Oh, this is just a kid. Slightly repurposed scene.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's over. We're not fighting anymore.
We're not fighting anymore.
I don't know what to do. My legs don't work.
Oh, she paralyzed him.
I'm Brian.
Oh, Brian, you're gonna die, brother. Finish him off. Don't let him suffer.
Get back behind the wall.
No. I'm sorry. Please. We can just talk. I'm sorry. Please. No, please. I'm sorry. No, we can just talk.
Oh. Yeah, don't waste the bullet.
Ellie, I gotta get in there. I can't fit through.
You doing okay, kiddo?
I'm okay.
Oh, poor Brian is gone.
Body! I got fucking Brian!
That's like a line straight from the game. They got Brian! Every time in the middle of a firefight. Mainly from The Last of Us 2. They got Brian!
You know where Henry is.
Oh, Henry. Sam and Henry.
Lawyer, medical attention, family visit.
She ain't giving you none of that, brother.
I wonder if this is the cell where my brother was beaten to death.
This has gone too far. It has to stop.
It has to stop now, you mean? Now that you're in the cell.
Yes.
They put a gun to my head.
There. Have I satisfied the necessary conditions for you to talk?
She's so sassy.
I delivered you.
He's a doctor.
I'm your doctor.
Yeah, it's not smart to kill the doctors.
Who did this?
We think it was outsiders.
Tommy!
It's not a
Tommy!
Fedra vehicle, but they were heavily supplied. Could be mercs.
Well, if Henry has a radio...
Hearing that voice come out of a real person. Yep.
Find every collaborator and kill them all.
She does not seem very, like, inspiring. She kind of reminds me of the drug dealer from Euphoria, Laurie, where she's just a nice Midwestern lady, but she'll kill you. Damn.
Fedra and they're not
This makes
fired.
sense why they're like actively patrolling so hard.
People.
If they're after Henry.
Thing is, I didn't hear that guy coming.
He was
shouldn't have had
either-
to.
Either him or you, or me or him, or whatever he says.
You're just a kid. You should know what it means to.
Yep. He's struggling. He wants to be supportive.
Yeah, you really aren't.
I mean, it was my fault. You shouldn't have had to. And I'm sorry.
Wow.
It wasn't my first time.
Over your thumb. Left hand. Squeezes down on the right. Look it. Okay.
A little bit of bonding.
We'll get through this.
I know.
Gonna have to find a new car. Well, Sammy boy likes to draw.
What?
It's a lot of effort and manpower to kill 2 people. Ooh.
Fuck.
Yeah, you don't want to be in there.
Not yet. Let's just handle what we have to handle. We can deal with this after.
Is that
Wait.
what I think it was, or are they? Looked like a sinkhole was forming.
Hey, you know that guy who said he was hurt? How did you know it was an ambush?
He wasn't always a good person, Ellie.
I've been on both sides.
Did you kill innocent people?
Yeah. Joel is not a saint. He may be one of the 2 protagonists, but he is not a hero.
Joel? Joel? Joel!
What?
What are you doing?
Traps.
I don't want someone sneaking up on us while we're sleeping.
I would move those little bed things not in clear view of the door.
What did you mean it wasn't your first time?
I don't want to talk about it.
She will, eventually.
So it gets easier when you get older?
No.
No.
Did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
It runs in the family.
Yeah. It runs in your genes.
Oh, so good. So good. Runs in your genes, runs in your family. Close enough.
That is so goddamn stupid.
You laughed, motherfucker.
I didn't laugh.
Yes, you did.
Jesus, I'm losing it.
You're losing it big time.
Oh, and he's got the watch right up close to his face in frame. Really hammer home the point they're making. The bond is beautiful.
Joel.
To all the people that hated Ellie, you can suck it. Hey, buddy. Oh, what a way to end it. What a way to end it. Our two best boys.
Feel so extraordinary. Something's gotta.
This song. We know this song. Okay. I loved that episode with all of my heart. I don't want to say it's like the best episode, but it's like this is the one that gave me the most like little giggles of like when you're kicking your feet together and you're like, oh, like just giggles of joy of like seeing moments from the game. Like there's a difference between, you know, seeing moments from episode 1 or episode 2 or 3, you know, moments from the game that break your heart and shatter your heart and really make you remember the trauma that this game has caused you. And then there's episodes like this where you truly are reminded of the bond between Joel and Ellie and the what part of what made the game so fun to play. In you know, we all remember the you know, the cutscenes, the big dramatic cutscenes of The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2 and like Uncharted and all that stuff. But so much of what Naughty Dog chooses to do with their storytelling happens within the gameplay, right? There's a lot of dialogue that happens while you're controlling the character, like as you're walking through a city or while you're completing a task or whatever. There's all these little moments and connections that happen that go so far to building that connection between the characters. And so to have this episode, which is kind of repurposing the Pittsburgh section of the game, is truly is wonderful. It's beautiful. And it brings me a lot of joy to see this episode come to fruition. You know, starting right off the bat, we have freaking what happened right away. Like we had some subtle new additions and we had some stuff that was pretty much straight from the game, and I think it all worked really well. Like we start with Ellie sizing herself up in the mirror, you know, practicing her mean mug as she holds the gun, right? Like she's doing her best to put on a brave face and this like persona of like a badass who's like, you know, almost enjoys the danger element in the element that she could be a dangerous person, right? And the dramatic shift in the later part of the episode when that reality comes to fruition is very good. But the beginning sequence when she's just looking at herself in the mirror, very like Taxi Driver, like, you looking at me? Like, great, fantastic. And then the first like 10-15 minutes of this episode is pure fan service. Pure fan service, because we get Ellie with her pun book. This is truly, I think, one of the best parts of the games. And this happens, the pun book I think actually happens after this section of the game. So we go through the whole section of the game, we meet the two characters that we met at the end of this episode, and then after we leave those characters, Ellie wants to introduce some levity to the situation, so she whips out this pun book, and you read through these puns while you're exploring the town. At least I think that happened after. But just such joy to have her whip out this pun book and start telling Joel puns. And they talk about in the post episode how Joel pretends like he doesn't enjoy the humor. He does. He secretly really enjoys Ellie, and like has taken a serious liking to her, but he doesn't want to outwardly portray that, right? Like, he doesn't want to give her the impression that he is someone that's gonna be her friend or gonna stick around or be a father figure, because at this moment he's still kind of planning that when he gets to Tommy, they're gonna trade off and he's gonna be done with her, right? Like, his role in that situation ends, so he doesn't want to give her the idea that he's gonna be around a while. And then he also doesn't want to allow himself to build that connection and build that bond due to his previous loss. And it's nice to see them bonding a little bit, and then they hit us with the song in the truck from different trailers. It's in the game as well, but it's just like, he's like, that is before my time. Like, fantastic. That song hits you like a truck. If you've played the game. And then she whips out the porno magazine, Bill's porno magazine. Love it. And I'm actually glad they kept that, but introduced it in the beginning of this episode, compared to in the games it kind of would have happened at the end of last episode when they're leaving town. I don't think that would have fit the tone of that episode, if that makes sense. So I'm glad that they kept it in this episode. That was really, really nice. And just seeing them for the first 10-20 minutes, just like on this journey, they're just on a road trip and they're just doing regular road trip things. They're eating Chef Boyardee, and Ellie's like, you just see the little quirks of Ellie where she's like, what are we eating again? He's like, Chef Boyardee ravioli. And she's like, that guy was great. It's like, yes, Chef Boyardee, the fictional man. Was Chef Boyardee based on like a real dude? I don't remember. Just remember that, like, she wouldn't know. She probably thinks he's an actual chef. Like, it is what it is. And she's telling him more puns, and it's wonderful. It's just freaking fantastic to watch them bond and, go from this point of him being like, your cargo. But at the same time, he's opening up a little bit, right? Like, when episode 2, when we were with Tess, he is, adamantly refusing to give her any backstory on himself, because he's very much like, I'm going to be with you for 5 minutes and drop you off. Like, you don't deserve to know anything about me. Don't want you to use that against me. And now he's like giving pretty like intimate details about his brother to her. And you can tell that he's subconsciously bonding with her as well, even if he doesn't want to. And it's happening. Ellie just has a way of endearing herself to you. And it's great. And then we enter kind of the Pittsburgh section of the game. In the game, this whole, from the 20 minute on, takes place in the city of Pittsburgh in the game. They repurposed it to Kansas City in this. I think the reason they did that is just because they were filming, I think they said they were filming in like Calgary, and I think just the aesthetic of Kansas City fit more with the filming location than Pittsburgh. Maybe Pittsburgh has a pretty distinct look that didn't really fit with the city they got to film in. So they just repurposed it Kansas City. No big deal. But right away, like they come up to that blockade. That's blocked off part of the highway, and you can tell Joel right away knows what's going on because he peers under and he sees there's no cars after this, which means that all these cars were placed here to stop you from going through. If it was just a naturally occurring thing where cars just stopped, there would be cars after. But this was set up as a blockade so that you go around and you're filtered into the city. Where then the hunters of Kansas City can pick you off, take your stuff, and just do what they gotta do. And the sequence where the dude wanders out and he's like, help me, and he's like, put your seatbelt on. Oh, straight from the game, pretty much. The only difference is the line delivery of, like, in the game, he's not even hurt. Like, love it. And they crash into like a kind of like a gas station type thing, a little convenience store, and the shootout happens. Great. And then Joel has to fight some people, and Ellie, with her newfound gun, has to save him. Again, slightly repurposed from the game. In the game, it kind of happens the same way, but not quite. She still has to save him from getting killed by someone, but it's in a different section of Pittsburgh, and the response is very different, right? He's very much doesn't want her to have a gun the whole time, as we've seen in previous episodes, and he actually, in the game, he gets mad at her. He's like legit mad that she did that, and then it shifts a little, right? Because he has to reevaluate. He's like, it was either him or me. And then, he trusts Ellie a little bit more with guns and stuff after that. But in this, he kind of just, he doesn't comfort her, right? He has an opportunity, like they said, to comfort her, and he doesn't. And she has to kind of pretend like she's okay, because she's very similar to Joel. She's just got to, like, compartmentalize that and, on to the next thing, right? But she shot that dude in the spine and paralyzed him. And then Joel had to kill him, and they make you listen to this kid cry for his mom, which is rough. Not gonna lie, that's tough. A lot of elements from this were very much drawn from The Last of Us Part 2. So, like, in The Last of Us Part 1, when you fight these hunters, they're just nameless people. They're just like a mob. They're soldiers and hunters that are just kind of populate these areas for you to sneak around and for you to kill. They don't have a real purpose. They don't have motivation or identity or anything like that. And they talked about how in the post episode, they wanted to make a concerted effort to give these people motivation, to give them identity. And that's something they did in the second game, in The Last of Us Part 2, is they would have, you kill a guy, and his partner or whoever is out there with him, he's like, oh, they killed Bryant. Like, and some people are like, oh, they just want you to feel bad for killing these people. And it's like, yeah, like that's part of the point, is you're supposed to realize that what you're doing isn't righteous, right? Like, and it's not, you're not killing a nameless, faceless robot. Like, you're killing a person, and you're supposed to feel it, and you're supposed to feel what that means. And I like how they kind of incorporated that into the show, where, like, as they're sneaking away after they kill this dude, you hear a guy like, oh, they got Bryant. Like, that's straight up from the second game, like them saying that type of thing. They have this dude literally crying for his mother, and begging for his life. Like, that's tough. And then they take it a step further and they give the citizens of Kansas City kind of an identity, right? You give them a motivation of hunting down Henry, who is the guy that we saw at the end. So the two people that we saw at the end of the episode are Sam and Henry. Henry is the older one, Sam is the younger one, and we'll learn more about them in the next episode. But I assume this is, so the Kansas City motivation for all these people is all new. So it's very interesting to see. Apparently, I guess, like apparently Henry, like gave some people up to Fedra or something like that. So, or gave up this character's brother. What is her name? Kathleen or something like that. And so her brother died and she wants revenge against Henry. So she's got like this whole city just trying to kill this one dude, which is very interesting. Provides them with a motivation for wanting to hunt you guys down. In the game, you just kind of assume that they're just like ruthless people who hunt down everyone and take all their stuff and have complete control. It gives them a little bit extra motivation, right? They're not just like villainous villains. Kathleen's interaction with that doctor was very interesting because you spend that couple minutes with her kind of interrogating him, and he's like, yo, I didn't give anyone up, I didn't do that, like, please, like, you don't have to kill me, like, I'm a doctor, I'll help you, like, I'm not, like, we know each other, like, I literally delivered you as a baby, like, you don't gotta do this. And I think she was gonna let him live at that point, like, she had softened a bit to him. And then she comes out and sees the dirty work of Joel and Ellie, and then just walks back in, shoots him. Like, she's cold. And she's apparently garnered the respect of this city, which is very interesting because this is a city that overthrew their quarantine zone. Like, Boston wasn't able to do that. Like, the Fireflies were not able to beat the Fedra in there. So, like, this is a tall task to take out Fedra, and this militia group did that, and she has the respect of them, which is very interesting. But her kind of partner in crime, Perry, as they call him, is played by the guy who played Tommy in the game. So, like, that man with that beard, the military dude with the beard, when you hear that voice, that's Tommy's voice. And he didn't even, like, change his voice. That's just straight up Tommy. So now you know... Now you know, when I was watching the first episode, and I'm sitting there like, dude, the voice is uncanny, and it's because it's the same. It's like the same voice. He's so good, and Tommy is incredible in the game. Love him, and great to see his actor playing a different character in this show. Repurposing all the main actors from the game into the show. Like, they already did it with Marlene. For those unaware, the woman that plays Marlene in the show is the same exact woman that played her in the game. That's dope. Now we got the guy that played Tommy in here as a random militiaman. Ashley Johnson, it's been confirmed via trailers and all that casting stuff that she is going to be playing Ellie's mom in flashback stuffs. And then Troy Baker, who did the voice of Joel and stuff, is apparently going to be playing a character in a gang of a guy named David that comes in later. But so very cool that they're incorporating them all. I don't think they incorporated Annie Wersching, probably because of her sickness at the time, but who knows? So that's kind of all about the Kansas City gang as we know them. They're hunting down Henry and Sam. We, I think, maybe got some evidence or hints of a bloater, possibly, in that building. Like, there's a sinkhole forming, I think, and there's something under there, and the ground was shifting, which is... I think that's just a little bit of foreshadowing. You're supposed to keep an eye on that little spot. So we'll see what happens there. But then the last 20 minutes of this episode is just just so cute and joy filled. As Ellie and Joel are trying to, hide from these people, he shows her a little bit how to use the gun. He's talking to her about, like, you shouldn't have to go through this as a kid. Like, this is not fair that you have to grow up so fast. And you can just really see the bond start to grow. Like, he apologizes to her and she's crying a little bit, and laughing a little bit, and you can see them connect. Like, they talked about it in the end. This is truly the episode where, like, they go from acquaintances who are just kind of going on the same path, the same journey, like, oh, we might as well ride together because we're going the same direction type thing. Where she goes from just cargo to now they are a team. Like, these two are a team now. And it's beautiful to see, honestly. It's freaking fantastic. I love it to death. They're climbing steps and just razzing each other. She's like, you old lazy ass. He's like, I'm 56 years old. Get off my back, Ellie. And then they start to go to bed and tell another joke. Like, love the jokes. And, he reiterates, it's unfair that she has to go through the things she's gone through. And she almost opens up a little bit where she's like, this isn't the first time I've, had to hurt someone or kill someone. And I think I know what she's talking about in that moment. And that hasn't been revealed yet by the show, but I'm pretty sure I know the instance that she is talking about of having to kill someone. And it's you'll learn. You'll learn eventually. But then tells more jokes, and they're like straight up laughing together and crying, and Joel is he's like actually really enjoying her now. And then just to drive the point home further, he shifts his arm so then his watch is right in frame, and it's very much meant to be like, okay, this is the moment where she goes from being cargo and goes from being then part of a team to now, like, this is a daughter figure to him. Like, this is well, at least the first steps along that way, right? The bridge is being built. That connection is being solidified. Like, the tendrils of that connection are reaching out and connecting, and they haven't yet solidified, but they are there. They are very much a team now. And, God help whoever tries to separate them at this point in time. Oh, and then we end with the shot of Henry and Sam pointing guns at them right at the end. Very interesting. The only thing I know about what they're going to be doing in the show with Henry and Sam is that Sam is deaf, I believe, in the show, which is an interesting element to switch up. I wonder how that will affect them communicating with Joel and Ellie, because I don't know if Joel and Ellie know sign language, but I know they're going to be using sign language for Sam, because I don't know if the actor is deaf in real life or if they're just making that change for the show. But I'm next episode is gonna be a doozy. The short little trailer that they showed is I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens, but my heart is not ready for next episode. Next episode's gonna be another tough one. So for those of you who get sad easily, just prepare your heart for really every episode after this. Because it's not going to be a super enjoyable time. I don't know. Loved this episode dearly with all my heart. Again, very different reasons for loving it compared to the first three, where the first three really break your heart and remind you of the emotions you felt in these big, bombastic, heart-wrenching moments. This episode really hits home the in-between moments in those games, where the moments where you truly start to bond and love these characters, and it's just wonderful. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. But I would like to know what you guys thought of the episode. If you have played the game, how did those moments, especially in the beginning, translate that you love so much? If you haven't played the game, how did you feel about the episode? Are you starting to enjoy Ellie more? If you are someone who hasn't really enjoyed Ellie up to this point, you know, has your perspective shifted on her a little bit after seeing her and Joel interact? What do you think's going to happen next time if you have not played the game? Definitely leave a comment down below. I really want to hear what you guys think about the episode, and it does help the algorithm. You know, not to be that guy, but it did a little bit helps the algorithm. I think that's all I got though. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my reaction, please leave a like on the video. Again, helps with the algorithm. If you're new here, hit subscribe. And then if you're interested in seeing the full uncut version of this reaction, consider supporting me on Patreon. That is linked in the description down below. Sometimes I post reactions early on Patreon as well. So if that's something you're interested in, consider checking it out. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.